Good morning, my friends. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Behind the Mic with me, Mike Avery, here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio, here to record this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. And as I am in here right now, I'm kind of scrambling at the last minute. I've been corresponding with a guest for the second hour of the show, and the way we have corresponded has been through Facebook messaging. He gave me his number, and I've been texting the wrong number. So I think I've got the wrong number. So I hope to be able to get in touch with him. More on that coming up. Bruce, good morning. How are you? Hey, Craig. Always a pleasure, buddy. How are you? Nice to have you along with us. Ross Elliott, Mr. Skinny Ross Elliott. How you doing, buddy? Ross, getting ready for bear season. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about deer season at all. Honestly, I could give a rip less, but I am thinking about bear season. I think Ross is probably the same way. Once you get the bug for bear hunting, Ross, did you see the video that Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats produced from Ontario hunting with Ron St. Louis here a couple of weeks ago? Really, really nice. Good morning, Joel. How are you? Uncle Johnny, how are you? And Aunt Debbie, Cliff, good morning. Tim, good morning. How are you? Hey, Ken. Sorry we haven't had a chance to talk much lately, but I enjoyed our texting back and forth. Ooh, let me just check something. Forgive me for a second, but I need to check something here real quick. I have to respond to this. Sorry, this just came up. I've got to respond to this. And let me okay, I'll come back to this later. I apologize. Busy morning here in the Outdoor Magazine radio studio for sure. Um, Headed to Canada tomorrow. Ross, have fun. Randy, good morning. How are you? He did do a great job. Jerry, good morning. Jerry checking in from the Adirondacks. Good morning, Randy. Robert, nice to have you along with us as well. Good morning, Jeff. Um, Many of you have told me you haven't been getting notifications when I go live, either for here Wednesday morning behind the mic or Wednesday night for Wednesday night live. I haven't done anything differently on my end. So check your settings, your notifications, and make sure that it's clicked so you will get a notification here. Um, Sorry, I'm distracted. Okay, I'm just gonna have to deal with this a little bit later. Johnny, good morning, Johnny. Johnny Bowler, the Bear Whisperer. How are you this morning, buddy? I'm inclined to stop this Wednesday night or this behind the mic and take care of this, but I won't. Any info on what happened with regulations suggesting the last NRC meeting? Well, Tim, we're going to talk about that in depth in this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. I've got Chad Stewart of the DNR on to talk about that. I've also got Jordan Hoover. Jordan is a member of the UPDMI, and he's not happy. I'll tell you right now what he says. The crux of it. He says the NRC was not interested in hearing all of the UP Deer Management Initiative's report. He further says the NRC wasn't even interested in what the DNR had to say. Now, this is just preliminary. I will flesh this out and talk more about it as I talk with Chad Stewart and Jordan Hoover on this week's radio show. Steve, good morning. How are you? You been fishing, Steve? Now that I know which boat is actually yours, I couldn't figure it out that day. I'm coming in from I don't know if it was a fishing trip or just a river cruise one Sunday afternoon. There's two people on what I thought was your boat, and they weren't you. I'm thinking that's really odd. So yeah, really odd because it wasn't your boat. Brad, good morning. How are you? Tim, nice to have you along with us. Okay, so it is a new month. It is July. Ed, good morning. How are you? Our illustrious leader, our governorette, our governoress, Governor Whitmer, has declared July as Michigan Wildlife Conservation Month. I have mixed thoughts on this. I mean, anytime we can bring attention to wildlife conversation, it's a good thing. So I'm glad for that. And I'm sure this has the Michigan Wildlife Council's hands all over it. I'm sure they got this done. But I get a little, I don't know, when I hear government agencies or government officials making proclamations about this is a special month, I take that with a grain of salt because in my mind, every month is Michigan Wildlife Conservation Month. Now, I'm glad that she made this proclamation, this declaration. I'd rather have her talking about Michigan Wildlife Conservation Month than shutting down the state and telling us we can't go fishing. So it's a good thing, but you know, okay. Patrick, do you hear that sound? It's the sound of his new Rapid River knife he bought Saturday in Rapid River. Use the Avery 10 discount. Pat, is it the same sound as this? Once again, is it this sound right here, Pat? Congrats on your new Rapid River knife. I can't speak highly enough about the folks at Rapid River. I love my new Rapid River knife. This is my new one. It was a replacement to the other one that the handle actually cracked. And this handle is woolly mammoth tusk. So it's not like you can go out and get a whole bunch more of it. Congrats. Mike, nice to have you along with us. Jason checking in from the Ira Township Fire Department. Steve, nice limit yesterday, deep water. Steve, I like hearing about the nice limit. I don't like hearing about the deep water. Honestly, I don't want to have to run out there. But I will. How deep of water, Steve? What are we talking? What depth of water? And were you running those stinky, slimy, yucky crawlers? Michelle, how are you this morning? Tommy, nice to have you along. Emil, looking for support from areas that she has walked on in the past. Emil, looking for support from areas that oh, gotcha, Emil. Yeah, our governor. Yes. Scott, going to be in Linwood next week, 10 days. Skinny water is going to get some attention when you can get out there. Isn't that the case? When you can get out there because the wind has been terrible. Austin, I saw the picture you just sent me of the coyote with the fawn in its mouth. Absolutely. I'm going to post that. Mad Jack, good morning. Mark, good morning. The Uper edition. Algonac checking in. Thank you, Bill. Sherry, how are you? The governor, I got it. 24 feet. And yes, Art Lewis, Michigan broadcasting icon, wants to say hello this morning, and I want him to say hello. If you want to meet Art in person, a lot of places you can do it, including Monday, July 29th. This guy right here, like my twin, like we're twins from a different mother.
Yep.
At the first annual Mike Avery Outdoors charity golf outing to benefit MUCC's youth camp. We are full, but we're making room for more. Art's going to be there. What else is going on in your world this summer,
Art? Not much, actually. I'm trying to take it easy.
Good for you.
Not working, but I'm trying.
Good for you. I look forward to seeing you up there, Art.
Yeah, me too.
Excellent.
Look, going to go fishing in deep water too.
Now we're not going fishing deep water. If you go out with me, we're going to skinny water. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
Skinny water, but you know I can find them in skinny water.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, Deb. How are you? David, thank you. Rick, good morning. John, good morning. Hello, Chad. Headed out tomorrow in the morning. Quantica Sea, Rip and Flicker minnows. Happy 4th of July. Okay, Chad, here's what I found for you. And you may already know this. Go skinnier than what you might think. That's all I'm going to say here in a public forum. Go skinnier than what you might think. Chad, also, would you let me know how that goes? Because I've got a couple of trips coming up. And if that area is as good as it was last summer at this time of year, I will make the run over there. Sherry says it's muggy in Poseyville. Kim, Coldwater Lake, say no to our overpriced, unnecessary sewer. Marty says, good to meet you at Walleye for Warriors. Time to go salmon fishing. Nice to meet you as well, Marty. Patrick caught some nice brookies in the Western UP Tuesday. Doug Ward, skinny. Doug Ward says, skinny is fun for sure. They're close and they're mad on the end of a rod. And the thing about the skinny water is when the fish are in skinny, they're in there for one reason, and that's to feed. They're in there chasing minnows. And when you find them in skinny water, as Doug Ward says, I would rather catch a dozen fish in skinny water running number 7 flicker minnows 12 feet behind the boards to 25 feet behind the boards than I would go out to 24 feet and catch 24 fish running crawlers on the bottom. But that's just me. Skinny water. Yes. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate that. Chad, I don't know. Let me just check something. Let me see if I have your number. Chad, I don't have your number. I do have. No, I don't. Chad, would you send me an email, if you don't mind, to Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com? That's Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com to see and give me your number so we can stay in touch. Good morning, Bernie. How are you? Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. Chad, another good, very good Saginaw Bay walleye angler. I've had a couple of good trips fighting the wind, but we've got some fish and some nice fish in skinny. And honestly, when you see people running out to 1 and 2 and out to the fingers and out there beyond, it's full of big fish out there. I know it is. But just keep in mind, when you're making that 5-mile run, 6, 7-mile run, you're running past thousands of walleye on the way to get out there. Just my perspective aboard the Angler Quest. I did have an interesting situation this past week. You know, I've told you about how I like flicker minnows, I like flicker shads, but the hooks on those things are absolute junk. So what you do is you catch a couple of fish on them and then you swap them out. I brought in just the bill of a flicker minnow the other day. We had a big fish on, maybe catfish, maybe pike, maybe sheephead, maybe big walleye. But all of a sudden there's no weight. I said, oh, he came unbuttoned. Reel it in, and there's just the bill of the flicker minnow on the end of the line. Good morning, Cap. Scott, Jordan, I look forward to talking with you on the show this week. Okay. Also, let me tell you who's on the show right now, and here's where I'm having a problem. Chad Stewart is my first guest this week. Chad of the DNR talks about the Deer Management Initiative results and the proposal to the NRC and what their reaction was, and maybe what we can expect for this fall. Then Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News checks in. Here's my dilemma for the second hour. Luke Pulaski from the Outdoor Conquest is scheduled to be my guest. In the second hour, we're talking about kayak fishing for muskies in the middle of Lake St. Clair. And he's got some outstanding video. Luke and I have been going back and forth on Facebook Messenger. He gave me a phone number. I've been texting that phone number back to tell him what time and wasn't getting a response. So this morning I called that phone number that Luke gave me, and it's the wrong phone number. So I reached out to Luke on Facebook Messenger and said, it's the wrong number. Can you give me the right number? No response back yet. If you know Luke Pulaski of the Outdoor Conquest, can you get in touch with him, please, and tell him that the number I have for him is the wrong number? The number he gave me on Facebook Messenger is not going through. Or if you have a number for Luke, can you send me an email to Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com? I really need to get in touch with him, or the second hour of this week's show is in jeopardy. You might hear dead air. Second part of the second hour, Jordan Hoover, who is, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Thank you. Just have him respond to me on Facebook Messenger, please. Thank you, Scott. So Jordan Hoover, this guy right here, who was a member of the UP Deer Management Initiative. I want to talk with him about how that process went, and is he happy with how it's going now, the response he's getting from the NRC in regard to the DNR's or the NRC's response. And then Jerry Gostinek talks about fishing bass in Michigan in the third hour of this week's show. And we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire, Dixie Dave Miner. So that's the rundown. It looks like Scott is going to reach out to Luke. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. And I really do want to get Luke on the show. Let me go back to my list of things to talk about. Okay. I mentioned the golf outing. to benefit MUCC. We're full. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, all of you who signed up. You never know with a first year event how it's going to turn out. I think this is going to be a good event, and I expect we will have an event every year. But this first year, we're full. However, we can always make room for more people, right? You put a foursome on each of the 18 holes, and then you can still add a few more foursomes. So that's what we're doing. But if you want to be a part of this, you got to do it now. Go to mucc.org/golf, mucc.org/golf to sign up to play and or sponsor. Time is running out. I mean, we've got a deadline. I'm not going to tell you when the deadline is because you'll wait till the last minute. But let me just say the deadline is here in the next couple of days. We have to let the people know who are. Here's what it is. Ross Elliott's, the dealership that Ross Elliott works for. Ross, I got a mental block. I can't think of the name. In West Branch. Emil, help me out. Ross, help me out. I can't think of the dealership, and I apologize. Hart, thank you. The Hart dealership in West Branch, we have one hole where if you get a hole in one, you win a new car, a new vehicle. Obviously, that is paid for through an insurance agreement. But the insurance company needs to know exactly how many golfers we have before they will honor this whole agreement. So if you want to be a part of this, mucc.org/golf. Hart, thank you. Hart, it's Hart dealership. Hart Buick GMC. I want to talk briefly, following up on this. One of the things I promised I would do is give a shout out to everybody who helped sponsor this event. Real quick shout out. Here is who has come on board so far. Security Credit Union, Northern Jack Pine branch of the National Deer Association, GFL Environmental Services, Craig Plowman, who's on here now, Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy, Michigan Brand Meats, Trophies Africa, John and Debbie Craves, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, Trinity Athletic Boosters, Trinity Wild Game Dinner, my brothers and sisters at Trinity came through, Fish Junkie Charters, Diebold Insurance or Diebold Insurance, Yider Insurance, Heine Knott Vernon Insurance, Pizza Sam's in Midland, Whitmore Lake Rod and Gun Club, TJ Johnson Forestry. Those are the companies that have come on board so far to help sponsor the event and raise money for MUCC's youth camp. You can help out too, mucc.org/golf. Steve has been a rock star. Steve Wyndham of MUCC. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that. Ed checking in. Ron, appreciate it. Mike, Hart, yes. Hart Buick GMC. Emil, what about the Lumberjack, Emil? Oh, that's right. The Lumberjack, if you want to come up and stay overnight, the Lumberjack restaurant there in West Branch, the Horror Corporation Lumberjack restaurant, has a discount. Emil, give me the details. I don't have them in front of me right now. Julie, good morning. Let me check my Facebook page to see if he's gotten in touch with me yet, if Luke has yet. Scott Hill. Scott Hill, rather than have Luke reach back out to me, since you have his number, can you email that to me directly, Scott? Send me an email to mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. That's mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. Give me the correct number for Luke so I can get in touch with him. I don't see it. Yeah. Scott, send me Luke's number if you would. Mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. That's Mike@mikeaveryoutdoors.com. So again, I've got about 4 things going on. Anybody know what day it is, Mike? It's Wednesday, July 3rd. It's the middle of the week, also known as Hump Day. Mike. There, Jordan. Got that out of my system. Thank you. Everybody in the building now hates me and hates you as well, Jordan. Yes, the golf outing Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club. 60 seconds? My gosh, John. In less than a minute now, I've got to change focus here from this live stream, this behind the mic, to recording this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show. One more time, Scott Hill, would you just send me Luke's number in an email? Send it to me to Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. That's Mike at MikeAveryOutdoors.com. And thank you, Chad. Let's follow up on that. The Rapid River Knife Works code is currently not working. The website is under construction. So if you want to get one of these, hold off until the website gets figured out. RapidRiverKnifeWorks.us. Building a completely new website. Excellent. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. All right, my friends. As I say, hey, good morning, Brent. How are you? I didn't mean to ignore you there, buddy. I would never ignore you, Brent. Again, I've got to change focus from this, my social media microphone, to this, my official broadcast microphone. It is not gold-plated like Rush Limbaugh's used to be. Mine looks to be aluminum. So, I will be back tonight, 7 o'clock, for another edition of Wednesday Night Live. I hope you can join me then. Again, set your notifications. Check your notifications, because people say I'm not getting notified when you go live. Nothing has changed on my end. So check your end and see. All right, I got to go. Have a good day, my friends. Well, thank you, Ken Hunter, for that introduction, and welcome to another edition of the Outdoor Magazine radio show right here on the Outdoor Magazine radio network on more than 30 radio stations across the great state of Michigan on a big midsummer holiday weekend, the 4th of July weekend. I hope you're the actual 4th. I hope it went well for you. And on this long extended weekend, well, first of all, I hope it is a long weekend for you. I hope you get a chance to get out and take advantage of it. Have some fun. I mean, unofficially, basically half the summer is gone now. Again, I say this every week. I don't know how this happens. I don't know how time continues not just to slide by, not just to slip by, but time continues to just fly by like a freight train. So you've got to take advantage of what you have right now. And right now, what we have is midsummer in this great state of Michigan. So this is the time. This is the time to get out there and take advantage of these opportunities, these fishing trips, these camping trips, whatever it is. Make those memories now. Make those memories now for your family. If you're young, you've got young kids at home, show them something this summer that they will remember. If you're older and you've got grandkids, steal them for a weekend, steal them for a couple of days, take them up north, take them to the lake, whatever. They will remember those times with grandma and grandpa. Get them off the phones, get them off the iPads. Now, you're not going to be able to get them completely off, right? But at least minimize the time on those electronic devices. Anyway, welcome to a new month, the month of July, the month that Governor Whitmer has officially declared Michigan Wildlife Conservation Month. I'm sure the Michigan Wildlife Council was behind this. I'm sure they had something to do with this. God bless the Michigan Wildlife Council. I have mixed thoughts when I hear a declaration or a proclamation from an elected figure, because while it is always good to draw attention to something like wildlife conservation, I would never say, no, we don't want that kind of exposure. In my mind, every month, again, Wildlife Conservation Month. This is not something, it's like National Hunting and Fishing Day or Free Fishing Weekend or whatever. Or Earth Day. Earth Day is when it drives me crazy. Every day is Earth Day for us hunters and anglers and trappers. And we are conservationists year round. This is not something we can celebrate on one day a year or 1 month out of the year. Yes, it's nice to bring attention to it, and thank you for doing that. I guess I'm not even going to say it. Not even going to say it. I had a birthday last week, so I'm a year older, so I'm a year wiser. So I've learned to bite my tongue sometimes and not say the things that I would normally say. So I won't say it. What else is going on? I've been out on Saginaw Bay on my beloved angler quest. Had some good fishing. Been fighting the wind. Honestly, I don't know what your fishing adventures have looked like this summer, but mine have been a lot of days of fighting the wind and some days of just not even going out because of the wind. Now, that Angler Quest is a big, beautiful, stable platform, and it can take a lot of water. The Angler Quest can take more water than I can, and I can take more water than some of my crews can, right? If you're taking people out who haven't been out before or who have a little experience out there, you want to show them a good time. You want them to be comfortable. You know, the Angler Quest and I can fish in 3-foot waves. Absolutely. You just go downhill, do a downwind troll, and it can be comfortable. But for people who aren't used to being out there, is that the experience? Is that the first experience you want them to have with that resource? I've told you before that I'm not a meat guy. I'm not a night crawler guy, and I've had some fun with this in the past, talking about, oh, I'm not going to run crawlers, those dirty things. Like, I know that you can wash your crawlers off, and they're not messy at all. I know there's probably no more effective fish catching technique than running crawlers on a spinner or a crawler harness for walleye. I know that. When I talk about hating crawlers, it's as much of a joke as anything, and it does rile you up. You crawler guys, I know you come back with me. What are you, Avery? Too good to run crawlers? No. It does drive me crazy to troll at 1.2 miles an hour when I can pull flicker minnows or flicker shads at 2.5 miles an hour and cover twice the water. And isn't it interesting? And I'm sure this is true of any body of water, but my experience is primarily on Saginaw Bay, and I'll tell you more about this in a minute. But it used to be, if you wanted to troll for summertime walleye on Saginaw Bay, you used Hottentots. Hottentots were the thing. And you know what? You can still catch fish on Hottentots. And then it went to flicker shad. And then it went to flicker minnows. Now, I'm really not sure if the transition from flicker shads to flicker minnows, because they're two different shape baits, I'm not sure if that was because of an actual change in the forage base on the bay, that the walleye were actually feeding on different shaped minnows, or if it's just anglers got fickle and switched over to flicker minnows and they worked, and now that's the rage. The rage? Rave? That's the rave. That's the hot bait, put it that way. And they are very effective. The hooks are for junk. They're very sharp, but they're very flimsy. You catch a couple of fish, you got to switch your hooks out. But the other day I was out and we had a big fish on. Now, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a catfish. Maybe it was a big sheephead. Maybe it was a pike. I'd like to think it was a big walleye. We got a fish on. The guy in my boat's reeling it in, and the rod's bent over pretty good. I mean, there's some weight on this fish. And then, boop, rod goes straight up. Oh, he came unbuttoned. He came unhooked. No problem. It happens all the time. No big deal. He reels the bait in, and at the end of the line, all I have is the bill, the plastic bill of a number 7 flicker minnow. The bill broke right off the bait. I have a love-hate relationship with those baits. One of the reasons why I am so invested and enamored and interested in the Saginaw Bay walleye fishery, because we have good fisheries across our state. We have great trout fisheries. We have great salmon fisheries. We have great bass fisheries. We have great sturgeon fisheries. And we have many great walleye fisheries across the state. But that particular fishery, the Saginaw Bay walleye fishery, I have a long history with that fishery. Back when I was working in television news is when they were first starting to reintroduce walleye back into Saginaw Bay. And so I've seen that fishery redevelop and now thrive. And now there's so many walleye out there to the point the DNR wants us to thin them out. That's why they've decreased the size limit from 15 inches down to 13, and from 5 fish a day, increased the daily creel limit to 8 fish a day. They want us to thin those fish out. One reason is because the walleye, the theory is they're eating all the perch. And almost every walleye I have caught this summer has been on a perch colored of some form or variation perch colored bait. So yeah, they're feeding on perch all right. What else? It is now time to apply for your fall turkey tag. Put that on your list of things to do. Otherwise, it'll get to be August 2nd. You'll go, oh man, I forgot to apply, because you know when you're out there hunting this fall that there's going to be longbeards walking by you. So why not take it? Well, in the fall, you can shoot a hen too. So why not take advantage of that opportunity? You can apply during the month of July. The golf outing. The golf outing is coming up Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club. This is an outing to benefit MUCC's youth camp. We're full. You never know with a first-year event how it's going to turn out. I was cautiously optimistic, and I still am cautiously optimistic this will be a very good event. We're full, but we have room to sneak in some more golfers. We have room. If you want to be a part of this, go to mucc.org/golf. mucc.org/golf. You can apply there. I mean, you can sign up there to play and or sponsor. We've got some great sponsors, and I promise these sponsors I would give them a shout out. I will right now. Security Credit Union, Northern Jack Pine branch of the National Deer Association, GFL Environmental Services, Craig Plowman, Scott Keatsman of Linwood Taxidermy, Michigan Brand Meats, Trophies Africa, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, John and Debbie Craves, my brothers and sisters at Trinity Athletic Boosters, Trinity Wild Game Dinner Committee, Fish Junkie Charters, Diebold Insurance, Yider Insurance, Heine Knott Vernon Insurance, Pizza Sam's in Midland, Whitmore Lake Rod and Gun Club, TJ Johnson Forestry. Those are just some of the people who have stepped up to help raise money for MUCC's youth camp. Love to have you involved. It's Monday, July 29th at the West Branch Country Club. If you want to join us, though, do not wait. There is a hard deadline, and I'm not going to tell you what that deadline is because you'll wait to the last minute, but you've got time, but you've only got a day or two. mucc.org/golf, mucc.org/golf. Coming up on this week's Outdoor Magazine radio show after the break, Chad Stewart talking about deer. Tom Campbell of Woods and Water News in our second hour. I hope to check in with Luke Pulaski talking about muskie fishing on Lake St. Clair out of a kayak. Then Jordan Hoover talks about the DMI process. He was part of the UP group. And in our third hour, we're talking bass fishing in Michigan with Jerry Gostinek. And we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner. My name is Mike Avery. This show is called Outdoor Magazine. My website is MikeAveryOutdoors.com. And my email address is Mike@MikeAveryOutdoors.com. Lots coming up in these next 3 hours. I appreciate you joining me, and I hope you can stick around for the rest of the show. All right, my friends, I got to go. Have a good day.